Have you ever noticed that the laundromat in your town with a car wash down the street never seems to close? Ever. Rain or shine, recession or boom, people saw dirty clothes and cars. While everyone else is chasing crypto coins to the next hype stock, a quiet group of people is getting rich, slowly, by owning stuff you use every single day. They don't have fancy offices, they don't have names of followers, but what they do have is freedom. Money coming in while they sleep. I've never owned a business, zero, but I spent the last 30 days learning how regular people buy laundromats, storage facilities, and car washes. And by the end of this series, you won't just know how to buy one business. You'll know how to build a machine that pays your family for generations. I'm talking infrastructure, how to get the loan, even with no credit, how to automate it so you've never touched the work, how to hide your name so no one can access your assets through the court system, and finally, how to pass it on to your future generations, tax-free. But for right now, part one. I'm showing you the first step. No hype, no get-rich-quick scheme, just the boring path that actually works. And I promise by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where to look and what to say to a ping. Stick with me through all 5 parts and you'll have a complete blueprint. No fluff, just the boring stuff that makes you... Here's the problem most people never fix. They trade 2,080 hours on average per year for a paycheck. That's a standard 8 hours per day, 40 hours per week job. But if you stop working, the money stops. That's not wealth. That's renting out your life. A wealth machine is different. You contribute about 90 full days, weekends and holidays if you want to cut that time by a third, setting it up so it runs itself. After that, you check on it maybe 3 hours a week. Okay, let's get into the actual list. I'm going to show you 11 boring businesses that normal people buy. I'll tell you where to find the businesses for sale, what they cost, how much they make, and how much work they take to set up. Take note of the following websites. These 3 are the ones I use to find service businesses for sale, and how and where to get the loan to purchase a business. So first we utilize bizbuysell.com to find small businesses for sale. And we utilize loopnet.com for large facilities and commercial-sized buildings for sale. Next, we utilize sba.gov. Now, that's where we go to research the Small Business Administration loans. Now, let's get to those boring assets. Number 1, self-storage. With self-storage, you rent out little rooms for people's extra stuff. Number 2, laundromats. People pay standard fees to wash their clothes. Number 3, express car washes. A tunnel that washes cars fast or when they can take their time and do it themselves. Number 4, vending machines. Snacks, soft drinks, coffee, or combinations of each. Number 5, commercial cleaning. Clean office spaces at night. Number 6, pest control. You can buy an existing route. Number 7, portable toilets. You can rent these out to construction sites. Number 8, HVAC, plumbing. You can buy a shop with workers already installed. Number 9, junk removal. Get paid to haul trash. Number 10, parking lots. People will pay to park. Number 11, land easements. Cell towers or billboards can be placed on your land. It can be rented out. Here's the thing. You don't build these from scratch. You buy one that's already making money. That is the cheat code. All right, let's get into something real. Let me show you a real listing I found on bizbuysell.com. So here, you can see we have a laundromat in Willard, Ohio called Flash's Laundry. Asking price, $239,000. Annual cash flow or seller's discretionary earnings under SDE here. You have $30,000. Gross revenue, $75,000. Now at first glance you might think, $30,000 profit on a $239,000 asking price? That's not great. But here's what most people miss. The building is included in the sale, and it was just recently appraised at $350,000 after the recent renovations. So that means you're buying an already profitable business, plus the building, for $239,000. $239,000? That's $111,000 less than the building is worth alone. Even if the laundromat made $0, you could sell the building tomorrow and still walk away with over $100,000 in profit. And there's more. Scroll down. See to the second floor section? They mention the upstairs as a blank canvas. So a space that you could turn into apartments, office space, or short-term rentals. That's a whole second income stream that most buyers completely ignore. This is how smart buyers think. They don't just look at the surface level appeal, the cash flow. They look for real estate equity and hidden upside. So when you're on bizbuysell.com, don't just glance at the price. Scroll all the way down, read every line. The gold, or the devil, is in the details that everyone else skips. Now, you probably don't have $239,000 wedged in between the couch cushions. That's fine. Next, we're going to get into how to afford this or something like it. Most people stop here. They think, I don't have $100,000 or anywhere near $250,000. But here's the thing. You don't need it. You use a Small Business Administration 7A loan. Here's how it works. Let's say a business costs $100,000. The bank might lend you $90,000. Then you'll only need to add $10,000 to it as a down payment. That's it. Now, what do you say to the bank? Well, don't lead with a joke, ending it with, I hope this works. No, say this. Write this down. Hi, I'm buying a business that's already profitable. My plan is to add credit card readers and better software to bolster the profits somewhat. I can pay this loan back in about 5 years. Banks love boring because it's safe. They'd rather lend money for a car wash or a laundromat than a trendy restaurant. Don't worry, I'll put a free list of SBA lenders in the description.
So in part one, we took a hard look at the unsexy truth of American wealth. Not the crypto casino, not the day train lottery ticket. We looked at the laundromat, the car wash, the self-storage facility, the boring, reliable machines that mint millionaires while the rest of the world is asleep. But there's a glaring omission in that first act, isn't there? How do you actually buy the machine? We briefly touched on it, but now we're going to be taking a deeper dive. Enter the Small Business Administration, or SBA 7A loan. It's the single greatest wealth creation tool the federal government offers the average American, and it is also, if you squint at the fine print in the wrong light, a beautifully designed trapdoor. The Small Business Administration doesn't give you the money. They just promise the bank they'll cover between 75 and 85% of the loss if you default. That guarantee makes bankers suddenly very interested in funding your dusty car wash project. It's the grease in the gears of the boring wealth machine. I've spent the last few years talking to SBA loan officers, forensic accountants who clean up the messes, and business owners. Some of those business owners own yachts. Some are now in bankruptcy court. And they all agree on one thing. The devil isn't in the interest rate. The devil is in the prepayment penalty, the collateral shortfall, and the life insurance policy you didn't bother to read. On paper, the 7A loan is a miracle. Let's say you find a laundromat for $800,000. It nets the owner $160,000 a year. But here's something mostly 2POs skip. You don't just write a check for 10% and the bank covers the rest. An SBA acquisition is almost always a three-legged stool. Leg 1, your down payment, 10 to 15% of the purchase price. Leg 2, the SBA loan itself. That's the bulk of it. And leg 3, this is the one that surprises most first-time buyers, the seller note. The current owner usually has to leave 10 to 20% of the sale price in the business. They become your lender. They get paid back over time, with interest after the bank gets paid. If the seller demands 100% cash at closing and refuses to carry a note, the SBA deal often dies right there. The bank looks at the structure and asks one question: can this thing pay us back? They use a metric called debt service coverage ratio, or DSCR. It's a fancy way of saying, does the business make more cash than the loan payment? The SBA minimum is 1.15. That means the business needs to generate 15% more cash than the loan payment. But in the real world, most banks won't touch a deal below 1.25. In our laundromat example, we're at 1.36. That's healthy. That's financeable. That's the boring wealth machine in motion. Other people's money doing the heavy lifting while you fix broken dryers and collect quarters. But here is where Pulitzer Prize-winning journalism requires us to stop polishing the hood and look at the engine sludge. That $9,800 payment, it doesn't care if the Department of Transportation closes your main road for 6 months or longer to replace traffic lights. It doesn't care if the boiler explodes in January. And most importantly, it comes with a set of handcuffs that you agreed to wear on page 47 of the closing documents. Before we get into the exit traps, we need to talk about the entry fee, because getting into this deal costs money you never actually see leaving your checking account. It's called the SBA guarantee fee. Remember how we said the government promises the bank they'll cover most of the loss? That promise isn't free. The SBA charges you an upfront fee for that insurance policy. For a loan over $2 million, this fee can reach 3.75% of the guarantee portion. On a $2 million loan, you're looking at a fee of $50,000 to $60,000. Here's the part nobody explains at the Chamber of Commerce breakfast. You don't write a check for this. The bank adds it to your loan balance. You borrow the money to pay the fee for borrowing the money. It's compound interest's obnoxious cousin. And it means the moment you sign, you owe more than the business cost. Now let's talk about gatekeeping. The SBA guarantee doesn't mean anyone gets a loan. There are hard stops. First, your credit score. Lenders typically want to see a FICO score north of 680. You can sometimes get in with a 660, but you'll pay a higher rate and face more scrutiny. Second, and this is the silent deal killer, industry experience. If you spent 20 years as a software engineer and you suddenly want to buy a commercial laundry, the underwriter is going to squint at your application. The SBA wants to see some connection to the business you're buying, management experience, a partner who knows the industry, or a detailed plan to retain the existing manager. Walking in cold is a fast track to a denial letter. So, you got the credit, you got the experience, you've swallowed the $60,000 guarantee fee, you're in. Now, let's look at the traps waiting for you on the other side of that gate. Pitfall number 1, the prepayment penalty hostage situation. In standard commercial loans, if you want to sell the business or refinance for a better rate, you just do it. But the SBA 7A program comes with a unique feature designed to protect the secondary market, the place where these loans are sold to investors. It's called the prepayment penalty. The standard is 531. If you pay out the loan in year 1, you owe a penalty of 5% on the entire loan. Year 2, 3%. Year 3, 1%. Here's the journalism part. If you sell the business for a profit in year 2, that penalty applies to the loan payoff and not only your profit. I spoke with a broker in Ohio who had a deal collapse last month. Seller had $2.4 million SBA loan on a car wash. Buyer offered $3.1 million. Great, right? But because they were in year 2 of the loan, the prepayment penalty was $72,000. $72,000 in cash just vanished. The seller's net equity was so depleted by this fee that they couldn't afford the capital gains tax on the sale. So they had to stay in business that they were ready to leave. That is the opposite of a wealth machine. Pitfall number 2, the life insurance clause you ignored. When you take an SBA loan over a certain threshold, usually around $500,000, the bank is required to secure key person life insurance. You are the key person. You think, fine, I'll get a term policy for $500,000. But here's the trap: collateral assignment. That policy doesn't pay out to your spouse or kids first. It pays out to the bank to satisfy the SBA loan balance. The rest, if any, goes to your family. That's fine if you just want the debt cleared. But where'd you have a business partner? What if your spouse was counting on the business plus the life insurance to survive? In the boring wealth machine world, you are the CPU. If the CPU fries, the bank takes the entire hard drive to the scrap heap before your family gets the data. And this brings us to pitfall number 3. This is the one I see ignored most often on YouTube Finance Bro channels. The SBA lean on everything guarantee. The SBA loan requires a personal guarantee. That's standard, but many first-time buyers don't realize the extent. For a standard 7A loan, if you own a house with more than 25% equity, they want to lean on it. At a brokerage account, they want to lean on it. You are not just buying a laundromat. You are hitching your entire net worth to the soap, suds, and spin cycles. People always ask, well, can I hive my house in an LLC to avoid the lien? The answer is usually no. If you're the 100% owner and you have equity, the SBA standard operating procedures say the lender must take the lien unless they get a specific waiver, which is getting harder to get every year. You are the collateral. Okay, so you might be thinking, why would anyone ever do this? Because when navigated correctly, leverage is still the most powerful force in finance. The key is to go into the bank with the same level of intelligence they have on you. 1. The prepay penalty. It is negotiable. Not with the SBA, but with the lender. Some lenders will offer a step down of 3-2-1 instead of 5-3-1. Some will waive it if you refinance with them. This is the question you must ask. If I want to sell this business in 18 months, what is the exact dollar amount of the fee I will owe you? If the banker stutters, then you have the wrong banker. 2. The life insurance. Before you sign the collateral assignment, call your estate attorney. Ask them to structure a split dollar agreement, or simply understand that your family gets the excess proceeds. Know the math. 3. Stress test the DSCR. When the bank shows you that shiny 1.25 coverage ratio, remember, that's based on historical numbers. Ask for a sensitivity analysis. What happens to the DSCR if revenue drops 10%? What if the minimum wage goes up? What if a competitor opens up across the street? If the DSCR falls below 1.0 in those scenarios, you are one bad month away from a capital call. And 4. The 20% rule. This is the metric that separates the owners who sleep well at night from the ones who don't. The data is clear. If your projected SBA loan payment is more than 80% of the business's current net operating income, you are a speed bump away from default. You need a 20% cushion for the roof leak, the minimum wage hike, or the competitor across the street. I put together a free spreadsheet calculator for this exact SBA stress test. It includes a DSCR calculation, the guarantee fee impact, and a prepayment penalty forecaster. It's not fancy, but it works. Link it down in the description below. Download it, use it if you plan to go into this kind of business. The goal of the Boring Wealth Machine is not to make you the next hottest TikTok star. It's to make you unfireable. It's to create an asset that spits out cash while you go coach your kid's soccer team. But that asset can become a liability the size of a house if you ignore the terms of the deal. Here, we're building a community of people who read the fine print before they sign it. If that sounds like you, hit that subscribe button. And if you know someone about to sign an SBA loan for a laundromat, car wash, or any other small business, send them his video. It might save them $72,000 or $60,000 or their house. In the next installment of Boring Wealth Machines, we're tackling the thing that keeps the small business owners chained to the front counter, the myth of the hands-on owner. Next time, we'll be discussing automation to alleviate you from the responsibility of owning a second full-time job, specifically the low-cost, high-impact technology that separates owners who take vacations from the owners who are the business. We'll look at remote monitoring systems for laundromats, automated payment platforms, eliminate cash theft, and the one piece of software that turns a 40-hour work week into a 4-hour oversight check for a self-storage operator right now. It's about reclaiming your time without sacrificing your profit margin. Further down the line, we'll answer the question that keeps every successful boring business owner up at night. How do I keep what I've built? The Boring Wealth Machine is a long game, and the next level is learning how to step back without the machine breaking down.
All right, so in episode 2, we made a promise. We said you could turn a 40-hour work week into a 4-hour oversight check. Now, you probably thought, yeah, right, these guys are just selling magic beans. Nope, no beans. Just boring, ugly, beautiful software. Today, we aren't just talking about automation. We are building it step by step, like Legos for grown-ups who hate mopping floors. So by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to watch your business print money from your barber's chair. I'm Chris with Down the Rabbit Hole, presented by The Devil in the Details. Now, let's break down the myth that hands-on means profitable. First, let's start by defining the villain of this story, the hands-on owner. That's you if you're unclogging a toilet at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday instead of at home reading your children a bedtime story. You don't get paid for working in the business. You get paid for working on the business. There's a subtle difference. If you're the best janitor, cashier, and receptionist in your company, congratulations, you have a job. You do not have an asset. Today, we're going to fix 3 headaches: the cash thief, the ghost guest, and the broken machine. Now, let's start with the one that hurts the most. Cash is trash. It gets stolen by employees, miscalculated, and it requires bank runs, manual counting, and constant oversight. The fix? Automated payment platforms. And this isn't some gimmick. The technology is already available. I put links in the description. Companies like Card Concepts through FastCard offer hybrid systems that can work with existing machines while adding card, tap to pay, and mobile wallet options. Coinomatic. They're also pushing an app-based payment system that lets customers load money from their phones, start machines wirelessly, and even get notified when their cycle is done. At that point, you're not really running an old school coin op anymore. You're running a cleaner, smarter payment system. Think about it. If you have 20 washing machines and each wash costs $4, that's $80 per full machine cycle you have to physically collect, count, secure, and deposit. That's manual labor. So the play is simple. Find the right cashless system, retrofit the machines, connect the platform, and monitor the store from your phone. Now the employees can't steal what is there, and you wake up, check your phone, and see what the store made while you were sleeping. No magic, just boring automation software. Now, let's talk about boring rich people's favorite business, self-storage. It's ugly, it's a gold mine. The old way of doing business someone would drive to the facility, change the locks, put a pink slip on the door for late payment, and then wait for a check to arrive in the mail. That's 1950 stuff. The software, Storable, or Easy Storage Solutions. Take a look later on and see for yourself. Step 1, set up autopay. Require a credit card on file to rent the unit. No cash, no checks, ever. Step 2, turn on digital locks. You don't have to argue, you don't have to call. Software is the bad guy for you. For example, a friend of mine owns a 200-unit facility in South Carolina. He used to spend 10 hours a week chasing late fees. Now, 4 hours total on the whole business per week. The only thing you have to do physically is drive by once a month to make sure a tree didn't fall in the shed. That's it. You are now a remote control owner and not a janitor. All right, let's say a machine breaks and you know nothing about it. That fear keeps owners chained to the counter, believing I have to be here just in case. There's an insta-fix for this. Remote monitoring systems. This way you will never not know. For laundromats, it's water sensors and vibration monitors. For vending machines or fridges, it's temperature sensors. Let's walk through it step by step. Step 1, you'd buy a sensor phone or room alert unit. It's a $300 to $500 investment, but totally worth it. 2, connect it to your Wi-Fi. Step 3, tape the sensor to the back of your most problematic machine. Step 4, program it to text you if the machine stops vibrating or if water pools on the floor. Most owners check on their machines because of anxiety. Like, what if a flood happens? But with a sensor, you don't need to check. The sensor checks for you. It texts you, hey, owner, water on the floor. Then you call a repair guy. You do not have to drive over. That text just bought you back 2 hours of your life. Now multiply that by 10 emergencies a year. That's 20 hours. That's a vacation in Hawaii, all for a $300 sensor. All right, let's stitch this together. Monday morning, 20 minutes. Open app 1. Check total deposits, $2,400. Good. Open app 2. Check occupancy, 95%. Good. Check your text messages. Any sensor alerts? No? Good. Wednesday, 10 minutes. Transfer money from payment apps to your real bank account. Friday, 2 hours. Call the one repair guy you trust. Hey, Bob, sensor says dryer number 3 is slow. Can you go fix it, please? You stay home. The goal is not zero work. The goal is high leverage work. You stop relying on someone else's goodwill to keep a roof above your head and build something on your own. You start sorting marketing ideas and making decisions for the life you want to live. If you spend 40 hours a week on this, you have built a cage for yourself. If you spend 4 hours a week on this, you have built the American dream. Subscriber? Not yet? Hit that button. Next week, we're doing the Protecting What You Have Built episode. We'll discuss how to bulletproof your individual valuation in the event someone comes for you through your business. Fire yourself from the dirty work. Keep the profit. We'll see you in the next one. Boring wealth machines. Sleep more, earn more. A customer just jammed their hand into one of the vending machines you own. They got hurt and they're suing. Not the machine, you. They want the business. They want the cash flow. And if your structure isn't right, they'll come for your assets too. We've been inundated with financial advice from non-financial advisors to form a limited liability company or LLC and relax. That's not asset protection. That's a false sense of security. Today, we're going to build a genuine fortress. So by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to make your business invisible to predators. You'll know how to separate your personal world from your business world permanently and use trusts, privacy tools, and advanced equity strategies the way the wealthy do. We're going to be discussing how to bulletproof what you've built. This is not financial advice. Everything presented is the product of legal recommendations, but we are not recommending you to follow the instruction of a talking head on the internet. You are expected to do your own due diligence before undertaking any decisions that can affect your financial future. Now, let's get into said research. Step 1 is simple on paper and butchered in real life. You must build a wall between you, the individual, and your business empire. The tool is an LLC, but the LLC is only as strong as the operating agreement and your daily behavior. Here's how to do it perfectly. Form a state-level LLC for your operating company. Because you have machines in multiple locations across a metro area, you will likely form it in your home state. Or, for privacy reasons, we'll cover it later on down the line, you will form a holding company elsewhere and register that as a foreign entity in your state. For now, understand this LLC is a person, not you. Your LLC needs an operating agreement, not a generic one from a website like LegalZoom, but a council-reviewed document that explicitly states the company is a separate legal entity, that members and managers shall not commingle funds, and the entity holds all equipment, contracts, and cash. Without this, a judge will look for any excuse to ignore the LLC. The veil is pierced by carelessness, not bad luck. Get an employer identification number, or EIN, from the IRS for the LLC. Do not use your social security number on a business bank account ever again. Open business checking and savings solely in the LLC's name. Every dollar that comes out of those vending machines flows into the business account first. When you pay yourself, you cut a distribution, documented, recorded, to your personal account. When you buy machine parts, a business debit card pays, never your personal one. If you pay for a toolbox with your personal card and expense it later, you just built a tiny bridge for a plaintiff's attorney to cross. Do not do it. General liability insurance is not optional. For a vending machine business, you want a robust premises operations policy with product liability and a medical payments rider. Get an umbrella policy on top of the GO. At least $1 million. Should a hand get mangled, the insurance company's lawyers jump in first, defending the LLC, not you. The insurance is the outer moat. The structural planning that we're about to discuss is the inner keep. So, how do you disappear from public view while staying completely legal? When someone gets injured at your machine, the first thing their contingency fee lawyer does is run an asset and address search. If your name and home address are sitting on the Secretary of State's website, the lawsuit gets real personal, real fast. Here's how to make sure they find a locked door. Step 1, form an anonymous parent LLC. You need a holding company in a state that does not require public disclosure of members or managers. The two gold standard states are Wyoming and New Mexico. Wyoming has the advantage of charging order protections for LLCs. New Mexico has the advantage of no annual report or franchise tax. For a vending machine business that wants maximum privacy and low maintenance, I'll use New Mexico in this example. You file a New Mexico LLC. On the public-facing form, you list a commercial registered agent, a company whose sole job is to receive legal mail and forward it to you. The registered agent's address becomes the official address for the LLC on public record. Your name and home address appear nowhere. The LLC's members are declared privately in the operating agreement, which is stored in your safe and not in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Step 2, create a trust to hold the LLC. This is the true anonymity layer. If you personally are named as the member in that private operating agreement, a determined litigant could still subpoena the records eventually. So we add one more layer. You form a simple, revocable nominee trust or a special purpose LLC to serve as the member of your New Mexico holding company. Then, in the holding company's operating agreement, the sole member is listed as the name nominee trust. Now, even if someone gets the internal company documents, they get a trust document and not your personal name. It's important to note, when you open a business bank account, the bank will require a beneficial owner identification. You will still give your name to the bank via federal Know Your Customer rules. Privacy isn't secrecy from the government, it's secrecy from the plaintiff's bar. The bank does not publish that information. The public record remains clean. Step 3, register in your operating state without exposing yourself. You have vending machines in a metro area outside of New Mexico, so you'll likely need to register the New Mexico LLC as a foreign entity in your home state. This is where most people blow their privacy. When you register, you'll need to list the LLC's name, a registered agent in that state, and a principal address. Use a different commercial registered agent in your home state for service of process. For the principal office address, use a virtual address or a leased commercial box, a real street address, not a PO box, from a mail forwarding service. The home state filing will show the New Mexico LLC as the owner and the agent's address as the contact. Your name still hidden. Step 4, sign contracts as manager, not owner. Every location lease, every repair contract, every vending machine purchase agreement, sign in your capacity as manager of holding company LLC. Never sign personally. This reinforces the corporate separateness and keeps your personal signature off the paperwork. Step 5, title the machines and vehicles correctly. Every vending machine is an asset. Title them in the same name of the operating LLC or separate equipment LLC, which we'll touch on in advanced strategies. If you use a vehicle to service machines, that vehicle should be owned by the LLC and insured through a commercial auto policy. A personal car doing business pickups is a veil-piercing magnet. You've heard, just put everything in a trust. This is the single most dangerous half-truth in asset protection. So let's debunk it definitively. A revocable living trust, the kind most estate planning attorneys set up for families, it does one thing. It avoids probate when you die. While you're alive, you have full control, full benefit, and full access. In the eyes of a civil court, a revocable trust is not a separate entity. It's your alter ego. If a judgment gets entered against you personally, a revocable living trust holding your house offers exactly zero protection, none. It's a privacy tool for death, not a shield for life. So, what does work? 2 structures. First, the irrevocable trust, Domestic Asset Protection Trust, or DAPT. 17 states, including Nevada, South Dakota, Delaware, and Ohio, allow self-settled domestic asset protection trusts. You create a trust that is irrevocable, meaning you technically give up a degree of control. You transfer assets, such as the membership interest in your holding LLC, into this trust. You can be a permissible beneficiary, but distributions are at the discretion of an independent trustee. After a statutory seasoning period, usually 2 years, the assets inside the trust are generally beyond the reach of your personal creditors. A vending business owner who fears a catastrophic lawsuit might place the entire LLC inside a Nevada Domestic Asset Protection Trust. The business operates as usual, but the ownership interest is housed inside a legal fortress. This is a high-level strategy and requires a specialized attorney. But it is real and it works. Second, the third-party spend-thrift trust. If you're not comfortable giving up control but want to protect assets for children or a spouse, you can have an independent trustee hold assets for them with spend-thrift language that prevents their creditors from touching it. This doesn't protect you, but it protects the legacy. The takeaway, a trust can be a shield, but only if it's the right kind. Your standard living trust is not it. Now we go further. So far, we've separated the business from you and made the ownership anonymous. But what about your personal assets, your home, your brokerage account, if something slips through? There's a deeply effective, often misunderstood strategy called equity stripping. Let me show you how it's done legally. A creditor can only take what you own free and clear. If your house has $500,000 in equity, it's a target. If it has $15,000 in equity because a legitimate lien is already there, it's unattractive to anyone trying to force a sale. You can create a separate entity, a family protection LLC, wholly owned by your spouse or by an irrevocable trust for your children. This entity then lends a sum of money to you personally, secured by a deed of trust or mortgage on your home, which you record at the county recorder's office. The lien is real. It has a promissory note, a stated interest rate, and actual terms. You aren't hiding assets, you're encumbering them. If a plaintiff comes after your home, they stand behind this first position lien holder. They must satisfy that debt before they get a cent. The equity is stripped down to almost nothing, making the home a hollow prize. Now, will this stop every lawsuit? No, but it's a devastating negotiating tool. The contingency attorney sees the title report and realizes there's no juice to squeeze. This must be done well before a claim arises, not after. A late lien is a fraudulent conveyance. The lien must document an actual debt, even if it's a promise to pay upon sale structure. Work with an asset protection attorney who understands the Uniform Voidable Transactions Act. Done right, it's ironclad. Done sloppily, it's a felony. You can also apply this concept to a securities account using a margin loan or a pledged asset line, deliberately keeping the liquid equity low and the borrowing power high. Asset protection isn't just about lawsuits. It's about what happens if you die or become incapacitated. Tomorrow is not promised today, and without a plan, your vending business, netting $10,000 a month or more, either falls into probate or gets shut down by a panicked family member. Here's how to ensure the machine keeps humming. Your LLC's operating agreement must contain a carefully drafted buy-sell provision. It defines what happens to your ownership interest upon exit, disability, divorce, or death. Typically, the business interest passes first through a binding right of first refusal to a pre-named successor or to the estate, with a requirement that the estate sell the interest back to the company at a pre-agreed valuation. This prevents your shares from ending up in the wrong hands. The vending business takes out a small-term life insurance policy on you, the owner. If you die, the proceeds buy out your interest from your estate immediately. Instant cash for your family, uninterrupted business for the operator. This is succession planning 101, but most solo operators never do it. Remember, we debunked the living trust for liability? Well, for death, it's perfect. Hold the business interest that is outside the DAPT in a revocable trust solely to avoid probate courts. A pour-over will catches any stray assets. This ensures your family doesn't wait 18 months to access the cash flow. If you're unconscious in a hospital, someone needs to pay the machine restockers and renegotiate the lease. A durable financial power of attorney and an advanced healthcare directive kept with the operating agreement give your chosen person the immediate legal authority to keep the business alive. Your business isn't built through luck. It's built through quiet, disciplined execution. Protecting it requires that same discipline. Here's your checklist with zero urgency and total clarity. Form a proper LLC with a tailored operating agreement. Never commingle funds. Shield your name using a holding company, a nominee trust, and commercial registered agents for all state registrations. Layer in insurance, general liability, a commercial umbrella, and commercial auto if you use a vehicle. Insurance always comes first. Replace the living trust myth with real protection. Consider an irrevocable DAPT if your risk and net worth justify it. Strip equity from your home and personal accounts using properly documented legitimate liens well before the trouble starts. And install the estate plan. As you've probably already caught on, we're using one of the boring businesses to build out examples of how to set up, run, automate, and protect the businesses you build. The topics we go over are interchangeable with each of the boring businesses. We're not saying that it is specific only to the 11 boring businesses we listed in the first part of the series, but they are the ones that we back-tested to ensure that the information that follows works in tandem with those businesses. In the next and final part, we're going to tackle how to pass on what you've built to your future generations while limiting or eliminating the stress of the government and them trying to take their cut. See you in the next one. Every series has an ending, but this one was never really about ending. It was about building income, systems, building something useful, something that could keep working when you were tired, distracted, or gone. We started with the boring businesses most people ignore, the quiet machines, laundromats, storage units, vending routes, cleaning services, parking lots, portable toilets, etc. Businesses that don't look glamorous or go viral, businesses that don't need applause. They just solve problems. They collect small payments and create cash flow. And when they're built correctly, they become something much bigger than a side hustle. They become a wealth machine. But cash flow is only the beginning, because money without structure can disappear. A business without systems can collapse. Ownership without protection can become a lawsuit, and wealth without a plan can become a fight between the people you love most. That's why this final chapter matters. It's not just about another episode. This is the closing piece. The income, the systems, legal structure, asset protection, operating agreements, insurance, the trust, the family plan. Everything we built has been leading here. So yes, this one is going to be longer. It needs to be, because this is the episode where we slow down and answer the questions most people avoid until it's too late. After you build the machine, who controls it? Who protects it? Who understands it? Who inherits it? Who keeps it alive? And if the answer is, I don't know yet, then the machine is not finished. Nobody wants to talk about death or family conflict, taxes, courts, lawyers, probate, disability, or what happens if the one person holding the whole business together suddenly cannot answer the phone. But real builders talk about it, because real builders do not just ask, how do I make money? They ask, how do I protect it? How do I pass it on? They ask, how do I make sure the people I love do not have to start from zero? This is our series finale, the final exam, and it's open book. You spent years building something simple. You clean buildings while the world sleeps. You rent out parking spaces. You deliver portable toilets to construction sites, festivals, and job sites where no one wants to think about sanitation, but everyone needs it. You didn't invent the next app. You didn't chase some shiny trend. You built what we call a boring business. And boring business prints cash. It is simple. It is useful. It is yours. But here's the uncomfortable truth. A business that depends entirely on you is not a real business yet. It's a job that you own. If the business only works because you answer every call, solve every problem, handle every customer, and make every decision, then the business is still trapped inside your head. And if everything is trapped inside your head, your family cannot inherit a system. They inherit confusion. So the goal is simple. Turn your business from something you personally carry into something that can keep running with written rules, trained people, clean records, and a clear plan. In part 4, we talked about asset protection and privacy. That was the fortress, the limited liability companies, clean operating agreements, the separation between your personal life and your business life, and the legal walls that keep outside problems from becoming inside disasters. That fortress matters. But legacy planning is not only about the walls, it's about the bridge. You see, the fortress protects what you own while you are alive. The bridge controls where it goes when you are gone. If you only build the fortress, your assets may be protected today, but your family may be still lost tomorrow. Legacy planning connects both sides. It protects the business now, and it gives your family a clear path later. Because without that bridge, one of two things usually happens. One, taxes take a painful piece of what you built. Or two, your heirs end up confused, fighting, waiting, and paying lawyers while a public court process picks through your life's work. That public process is called probate. Now, probate is not always evil, but it can be slow, public, and expensive. And that matters because a business cannot always wait. Employees still need to be paid, customers still need service, bills still come due, and equipment still needs maintenance. If your family has to wait months just to get legal authority, the business may lose value before they can even touch it. That's why we try to avoid probate when possible. Not because we're hiding anything, but because delay destroys businesses. So, we are building the bridge now. Not when you're 60, not when the business is big enough, not someday, now. Because the same basic structure that protects a $500,000 business can be scaled to protect a $15 million business. It just has more zeros. In this finale, we're going to be using 3 boring business examples. It's going to be the commercial nighttime cleaning service, the parking lot business, and the porta potty rental business. And we are going to walk through 2 paths for each. Path A will be passing the business on to your heirs. Path B will be selling the business and protecting the money. And before we go further, remember this. This is not legal advice. This is not tax advice. This is only the map. Before you build a real structure, you take this map to a qualified estate attorney, tax professional, and or financial advisor who understands your state, your business, and your family situation. So before we get into either path, we need the foundation. This part applies to every boring business, whether it's the commercial cleaning office business or the parking spot rental, the vending machines, laundromats, different businesses, but same foundation. We need 3 things in place. First is the revocable living trust. We'll keep it simple since we discussed it in part 4. The trust is a legal box. You put your important assets into that box: business interests, real estate, bank accounts, and ownership documents, etc. While you are alive, you control the box. You are the trustee. You are still in charge. You can still buy, sell, manage, and operate. But when you die, the person you selected steps in and takes over without dragging everything through court. No probate, no family members guessing what you wanted, no court casually deciding the timeline of your legacy. The trust is not magic. It's a set of written instructions. It says who controls the assets, who benefits from them, and what happens when you die or cannot make decisions anymore. In plain English, a will tells the court what you wanted. A trust helps your family avoid needing the court in the first place. That means the assets actually have to be placed into the trust or connected to the trust. A trust with nothing in it is just a fancy folder. 2, the family LLC, or the family limited partnership. In part 4, we talked about the limited liability company as an asset protection tool. Now that same structure gets a second job. It becomes a wealth transfer tool. A family LLC is not just about sounding official. It gives the family a rule book. It says who owns what, who can vote, who can sell, who can manage the business, and what happens if someone dies, gets sued, divorces, or wants out. That matters because family and business can get messy fast. The LLC helps separate emotion from the rules. In simple terms, you create an entity like a family LLC that owns the business assets. Over time, you give or transfer small ownership interests to your heirs or to a trust for their benefit. And because those small interests do not control the company and are not easy to sell, they may qualify for valuation discounts. A small piece of a company is usually worth less to an outside buyer than full control of the company. Why? Because the person who owns that small piece may not be able to make decisions, force a sale, or easily sell it to someone else. So for tax purposes, that small piece may be valued lower than the full math would suggest. But this must be done correctly. You need real paperwork, real appraisals, and real professional guidance. This is not a handshake strategy. This is how families move ownership carefully, legally, and deliberately while keeping control where it belongs. 3, the document portfolio. Now this part I call Legacy 10. So before you get overwhelmed, remember this: the documents are not the legacy. The documents protect the legacy. The real legacy is the business, the cash flow, the property, the lessons, and the family stability you are trying to leave behind. And these documents are how you keep those things from falling apart. Every business owner needs a secure vault with these 10 items. 1, the revocable living trust. It's your private rule book. 2, the pour-over will, the backup plan. 3, financial power of attorney, which names who can handle your money if you cannot. 4, healthcare power of attorney and living will. It names who can make medical decisions, if you cannot speak. 5, operating agreement or partnership agreement. This is the company rule book. Number 6, the buy-sell agreement. It's a contract that says who can buy your ownership, how the price is determined, and where the money comes from. The buy-sell agreement keeps ownership from becoming chaos. Without it, the wrong person can end up owning part of the company. Number 7, business valuation appraisal, a professional estimate of what the business is worth. Number 8, life insurance policy audit. This checks who owns the policy, who receives the money, and whether it matches the estate plan. Number 9, gifting records and meeting minutes, paperwork for every ownership transfer. And finally, number 10, business succession and management plan. If something happened to you on Sunday, who opens the business on Monday? Who calls the employees? Who talks to the bank? Who has the passwords? Who knows the customers? Who can sign checks? Who knows where the insurance paperwork are? If nobody knows, you do not have a succession plan. You have a hope, and hope is not a plan. Now let's talk about heirs, those who inherit what you've built. Wealthy families don't just hand over money and hope everyone figures it out. Leaving money is not enough. Money without training can disappear. Money without purpose can weaken the people it was supposed to help. The goal is not just to leave assets. The goal is to leave structure, knowledge, and responsibility. For this, we're going to be looking at some tools. Tool 1, the Roth IRA for a child employee. Now, we're not advocating for child labor here, but having your heirs perform age-appropriate tasks like organizing supplies, helping with data entry, filing paperwork, or general help around the shop, These can work beautiful for active, boring businesses, such as the commercial nighttime cleaning service or porta potty rental company. The key is this: the work must be real, the pay must be reasonable, the records must be clean. And this doesn't mean that you fake a job for your child. No, that's not the point. But if the child is truly working in the business, then earned income can become the seed for long-term investing. That earned income can be used to fund a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is funded with after-tax dollars, but the growth can become tax-free if the rules are followed. So instead of giving your child random cash that disappears in shopping malls on clothes, phones, snacks, or nonsense, you use the business to teach work, discipline, ownership, and investing. Work creates income. Income can buy assets. Assets can grow while you sleep. The lesson is worth more than the money itself. Because this is where your heir gets a chance to realize something important. The wealthy do not always play a different game because they're smarter. Sometimes they just know the rules earlier. Tool 2, the intentionally defective grantor trust. Okay, I know the name is terrible. An intentionally defective grantor trust? It sounds like something that went wrong. But the defective part is intentional. It means the trust is designed so the assets can be outside your taxable income, while you may still pay income taxes connected to the trust. So why does that matter? Well, because when you pay those taxes, the trust assets can keep growing for your heirs without being drained by the tax bill. Here's a simpler version. You sell discounted LLC interest to the trust. The trust gives you a promissory note, which is basically an IOU. Business cash flow then makes payments on that IOU. Over time, the business moves into the trust for your heirs. You locked in today's value. So if the business grows a lot later, that future growth happens inside the trust, outside your personal estate. In simple terms, you freeze the value today. You move the future growth to the next generation. You keep the plan legal and controlled. That is why wealthy families use tools like this, not because they're smarter than everyone else, but because they plan early. Now let's apply it. Example 1, the commercial nighttime cleaning service. This business is not mainly about equipment. It's about contracts, people, trust, access, keys, schedules, and reliability. If something happens to you, who knows the clients? Who has the building access? Who knows the supervisors? Who can keep the contracts alive? For this type of business, the best tool is usually a succession buy-sell agreement funded with life insurance. The life insurance provides the cash. Your family gets paid, the business keeps running, employees keep working, the customers do not panic. You also need a key person retention plan, because in a cleaning business, the supervisors are gold. But in a service business, the system is the asset. Example 2, the parking lot business. This one is real estate. Dirt, asphalt, location, access, and cash flow. The best structure here is usually a family LLC combined with discounted gifting. You place the parking lots into an LLC. Then over time, you transfer small ownership interests to your heirs or to trusts for their benefit. The rents continue, the land appreciates, the trustee manages the structure, and the family keeps control. A parking lot may not be exciting, but boring income that keeps showing up is exactly what makes it valuable. Example 3, the porta potty rental business. This business may look dirty from the outside, but from a wealth building point of view, it can be very clean. You have equipment, routes, repeat customers, contracts, a service people need even when the economy slows down. That makes it a strong candidate for IDGT, or the intentionally defective grantor trust. There's also another smart structure. Separate the equipment from the operating business. One LLC owns the toilets, trucks, and physical assets. Another LLC runs the service company, manages the customers, hires employees, and operates the routes. The operating company leases equipment from the equipment company. Why do this? Because it separates risk, creates cleaner books, makes assets easier to value, and gives you more flexibility when gifting, selling, borrowing, or expanding. That is how a dirty business becomes a clean legacy machine. Up to now, we've been talking about keeping the business in the family, how to protect your assets and pass it down. But sometimes legacy doesn't mean your children or your heirs run the business. Sometimes legacy means you sell the machine and protect the money. Because the business was never the final destination. The business was the vehicle. The real destination was freedom, stability, and control. How you structure the sale of a business can make the difference between a clean exit and a tax disaster. The sale price is not the same as the money you keep. A buyer may offer you a big number, but taxes, debt, deal structure, legal fees, and timing decide how much actually lands in your pocket. So don't just ask, what is the sale price? Ask, what do I keep after the deal is done? There are two basic sales structures every owner needs to understand. First, the asset sale. In an asset sale, the buyer purchases the pieces of the business, the trucks, the equipment, the contracts, the customer list, the name, the inventory. Buyers often like asset sales because they get a cleaner start. But sellers need to be careful. If you own equipment that has been depreciated for tax purposes and you sell that equipment for more than its reduced tax value, part of the gain may be taxed as ordinary income through depreciation recapture. That can hurt, especially for equipment-heavy businesses. A porta potty company with trucks, pumps, trailers, and thousands of units could have a serious tax issue if the sale is not structured carefully. Asset sales are not always bad, but you need to understand the tax result before you sign. Second, the entity sale. In an entity sale, the buyer purchases your ownership interest in the company itself. For the seller, this can be cleaner. Instead of selling every truck, contract, toilet, and customer relationship separately, you're selling the company interest. That may allow more of the gain to be treated as long-term capital gain, depending on the structure and tax rules. The point is not that one structure is always perfect. The point is that you need to understand the negotiation before the buyer's lawyer writes the agreement, because the deal structure decides how much money stays yours. Good records matter here. If your company's records are messy, buyers may push for an asset sale because they don't want hidden problems. But if your company is clean, organized, insured, documented, and properly structured, you may have more power to negotiate. Good records are not just for tax season. Good records can increase the value of the business. Now let's apply the sale path. Example 1, selling part of a commercial nighttime cleaning service. You built a strong regional cleaning company, a national company once into your market. You're not ready to retire, but you are ready to take some chips off the table. So you sell 60% of the company. Now, the most important document becomes the new operating agreement. It must answer the hard questions. How are profits split? Who makes decisions? Can they force you to sell later? Can you force them to buy the rest later? How is the final price determined? What happens if you want out? This is where put options and call options matter. A put option may let you force the buyer to purchase your remaining ownership later. A call option may let them force you to sell later. Those details decide whether you have a clean exit or become trapped as a minority owner in a company you no longer control. Example 2, selling a parking lot portfolio. Parking lots are real estate. And real estate owners often face one brutal problem: large, unrealized gains. You bought the lots years ago. The city grew around you. The land value exploded. Now a buyer wants the whole portfolio. Great. But if you sell outright, the tax bill may show up immediately. One strategy some owners explore is a deferred sales structure, such as a deferred sales trust or installment style planning. The basic idea is this: instead of receiving all the cash at once, the proceeds are structured to pay you over time. That can spread the tax burden over multiple years and keep more capital working. This is not something you do casually. You need a serious tax attorney, a qualified advisor, and a structure that is legitimate from day one. The goal is not just to sell. The goal is to sell without handing away more than necessary in the first tax year. Example 3, selling a minority interest in a porta potty business. Let's say you don't want to retire. Let's say you want to grow, and a private equity group offers to buy 40% of your company. They bring capital, you bring operations. Together you expand the route network, buy more units, hire more drivers, and enter new markets. This can work, but only if the operating agreement protects you. One key term is the distribution waterfall. It's just a fancy way of saying who gets paid first, who gets paid second, who gets paid last. You may structure it so business expenses and your management salary are paid first. Then investors receive an agreed return. Then remaining profits are split. The details here matter because private equity does not invest because they like the blue toilets. They invest because they want a return. A large check can make a bad deal look good, but once you sell part of the company, you're no longer the only voice in the room. Voting rights, distribution rules, exit rights, debt rules, and management authority matters. But money is only one part of the deal. The control terms decide whether you still own a business or just own a problem. Most families don't lose wealth because they're lazy. They lose it because they're uninformed. They didn't know where the documents were, who was in charge, or what the money was actually for. That's why legacy isn't a stack of papers. It's a conversation. You aren't telling your family they're rich. You're telling them they have a responsibility. You aren't raising heirs to spend a fortune. You're raising stewards to protect the mission. The boring path to wealth was never actually about toilets, parking lots, or vending machines. Those were just the machines. The real goal was control. Control over your time, your income, and control over your family's future. Your business wasn't built to die with you or be picked apart in probate. It was built to be the foundation of a stable life, not just a flashy one. If this is your first time here, welcome. This channel exists to take the big systems, estate planning, tax structures, business acquisitions, and drag them into the light. Powerful people use this machinery quietly while telling everyone else that's not for you. We tend to disagree. We don't worship complexity here. We dissect it. Because usually, the only thing keeping you locked out isn't a lack of intelligence, it's a lack of exposure. Now the boring path is complete. You've seen how simple businesses create cash flow and how structures protect that freedom. But this finale isn't the end. It's the proof that every piece was connected. If this changed your perspective, go back to the beginning of the series and study the machines. Then, don't just build a business, build a bridge. The goal was never just to get rich. It was to make sure people you love never have to start from zero. Now, go. Build your bridge.